Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. I am your host, of course, Dom. Today, talking about all the indie solicits, and I've got two friends with me to banter with on this fine Monday morning, afternoon, evening, or wherever you might be. To my right is none other than
Joe Talks Comics, the podcast where I talk to friends about the comics that we've been reading and enjoying lately, plus side episodes and creator interviews, and available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, hopefully other places you get your podcasts. And very glad to be back as always. I know I had to miss last month. Things are busy. I wouldn't be able to stay for the first hour, but I'm glad that things worked out that I could at least stay for that long. So thank you again, as always.
Well, we're glad you're here, and of course, you can check out all of Joe's stuff there via the links that James has sent. And to the bottom of the screen is none other than
Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. Thank you guys for joining us. I am the NMC social media guy, and also on my own YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, I've done a lot of Fantagraphics coverage lately. They had a big sale this past weekend where I went over some recommendations. The sale's over, but the recommendations still apply, so you can still watch that video and see some cool. I show off like nearly every Fantagraphics book I have in my collection, but still not quite all of them because there's so many. But I know we're talking about Fantagraphics today, and I'm stoked because it's my favorite publisher. But thank you guys for joining us. Love doing this show.
Love you as well. And to answer James, he will be on a tad bit later. Again, scheduling, etc. But it is what it is. I want to say a quick hello Justin, hello Philip, and hello Chris Brogan. Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning as well, Mr. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to pick up Power Rangers Prime. It has been a fun ride so far. But yes, we're going to be viewing these on, of course, my website at comicrelease.com, where we do have all of the information and the scoops on the whatnot. And also, because I have listened to Harvey P. Kurzios whenever he decides to pop in, because of the expanded solicitations we have now, I thought, well, maybe we could just add all of the publishers in the title. If YouTube likes that at all, we will see nonetheless. Qui-Gon Jinn, hello. Good morning to you, Gianni.
Me.
Hopefully you are doing well so far. Of course, you can support us on Patreon. All right, let's go ahead and get this show started. If my whole computer mabob thing will work. Let's see if I can. All right. Let's view us here. We're going to kick it off with Image June 2025. The first of which is a brand new original graphic novel in Spectators by Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Hendrickson. The same creative team that brought us The Pride of Baghdad. This is $29.99, coming out in stores on the 10th of September.
That's a pretty big deal because what's the last series that Brian K. Vaughan has done in recent years besides Saga?
Ooh.
Like, I know Saga's come back, obviously, but I don't know that he's done.
Is it Paper Girls? It might be Paper Girls. I mean, that was like mid-2010s, but
yeah. So like when Saga went on hiatus, like he went on a hiatus. Like normally when a project goes on hiatus, it's for the artists, to catch up on things or whatever. You'd think that and a lot of times the writer will then work on other projects in the meantime, but he's kind of taking it back. I think maybe he's been doing some stuff in Hollywood.
I think that's because he did we got a couple of TV shows coming out now.
Yeah, so maybe that's what his focus has been on then.
The pandemic and things. So
pretty big deal. We got a new Brian K. Vaughan.
I was going to say, did either of you get to read any of this on the newsletter as it was coming out? I don't know if you were following that.
No, I don't. Was it at Substack?
Looks like it was Substack first, according to Gianni.
So basically what he did was he serialized it over like 3 years on his Substack.
Okay.
As like a unique version of the paid subscription model. And then, the the comic itself was free to read, but he like paywalled like a bunch of extra stuff. So there was like you could only comment if you were paid, and so there was like a whole like paid community bit. But the actual newsletter with the comic was free. And so now that it's finished, he's then blocked all of those posts behind the paywall. So now you can't read it for free anymore on Substack because he's coming out with the actual printed edition. So
you know what's really sad is I think I'm subscribed to his Substack and I have been since he started it, but I don't think I ever realized that this not on the paid one, just this free newsletter. But I assumed that this was behind the paywall. But I guess I had access to it and I just didn't read it.
Well, so like theoretically, if someone was like getting the newsletter emails each week and wasn't reading them, you could like go back all of them and still like piece it together. But you can't go into the archive and unless you paid for it. So I read like because I only joined like a couple of years in. So I read like the final year or so of it just as it was coming out and trying to pick it up, and it's interesting. When you say there's like it's graphic and a bit raunchy, then it is, but it's an interesting idea. I'd definitely be curious to like go back to the beginning and read it all the way through because the artwork is of course gorgeous.
Interesting. Well, I'll have to take a look at it then, because it's Brian K. Vaughan. It's a creative team that I typically enjoy. So. We'll note. Next up, we got Altamont hardcover by Charlie Adlard, who many of you might know as the Walking Dead guy, and Harikana writing. This also looks like it is another original graphic novel coming out on the 20th of August at $24.99.
This is really cool sounding because I love this time period anyways, like the 60s, 70s, Woodstock, Vietnam War, like all that stuff is like stuff that I soak up just in pop culture in general. And it takes place during that time, and also Charlie Adlard of Walking Dead fame.
Oh, huh.
This seems like it'd be pretty cool. It looks like it's the aftermath of Woodstock, as if something catastrophic happened.
Interesting. Can't wait to check that out.
This next one though is a big one.
This one's big. Obviously, this is the Complete Spirits by Darwin Cook, the Connoisseur edition, $100. Coming out on the 8th of October.
Yeah, these next two actually are Scott Dunbier in his Act 4 publishing, which is now being published through Skybound, Image Skybound. So it's like an imprint of an imprint of Image. But he was funny on the interview he did with Omar on Near Mint Condition. I'm sure James could link that interview. It's very fascinating. I love that interview. But he said he's trying to come up with the most pretentious name as possible, and that's when he came up with the Connoisseur edition. But basically, these are going to be like absolute editions. He says they're going to be the same. Well, he compared it to the Martini edition actually of Parker, which is slightly taller than an absolute. But he said it'll be in a slipcase though, and it's going to be full color. Like these are not the Connoisseur editions are not artist editions. Like it's full color comics. And it's gonna be the same trim size as the Martini edition, which everybody that owns a Kalax knows they don't fit in there, but they're still gorgeous things. Like I love these. The Martini editions are two of the most gorgeous collections ever. I know Bunk is a big fan. Since he's not here with us yet, I'll shout out him. I know he loves the Martini editions. But this is including. It misses issue 7 because I think some other artist was working on that, but it does include the Batman and the Spirit one shot, which is cool that they got
which is really cool.
That connection with DC to do that.
And there you go. You can check out the interview via here on this very channel.
Really a great interview. I know people are like, I don't know who Scott Dunbier is. He's not an artist or whatever. Why do I want to watch that? But Scott Dunbier, I have to call him the Indiana Jones of comic book art because he literally is the proprietor of the artist edition, which is a format I love. You can see I have some in the back here.
Also, break news real quick, Taylor, if I may.
Yeah, I saw that.
Alliance Entertainment has just bought Diamond Comics distributors. I know that we have been talking a whole lot about the whereabouts and whatabouts of what would become. I mean, Diamond has been losing a lot of publishers recently, right? Titan recently over to Lunar, Boom over to Penguin Random House. They were bought out rather. But this is definitely interesting news. On top of that, I will note that some of these solicitations, like we'll see later with Boom and Titan, because of the fluctuation in the distributors, some of the books have two separate solicitations that are for the same book. Like they have like two completely different order rule codes coming out on different dates, but it's the same book. So
who's Alliance? Who is that?
I quickly skimmed the Bleeding Cool article, and it sounds like they're just like a toy company and just like various things.
Okay, so it's not like a Alliance. The name Alliance sounds like it could be multiple people coming together. Like I didn't know if that was like, I know Todd McFarlane talked about, or there's rumors that he might buy it. I don't know if he was joining in with somebody or if some big name was joining in with somebody. So it's nobody that we know.
A global distributor and wholesaler specializing in music, movies, video games, electronics, arcades, collectibles. Huh.
Interesting.
So it looks like the toy and whatnot.
It includes Diamond Toys. That's why I was thinking it was.
Okay, that makes sense.
A couple of other things. Yeah, that's interesting.
Interesting. I'll be curious to see how that plays out, and because they don't have any big name publishers attached to it, I don't know.
It's just Dynamite.
Yeah.
At this point, for the single issues, people.
Well, I think there's some smaller publishers that were still hanging on, possibly jumping ship.
True. Yeah.
Which I mean, maybe that's what it becomes. They soak up all the smaller publishers, and because that was the biggest fallout. I guess which is relevant to the show that we're doing today, was that a lot of the smaller publishers, if Diamond went under, and we had almost a monopoly again. I know it's not quite the same because there's a couple distributors there. Anytime you limit the amount of distributors, means that those distributors can increase the prices that they cost to the publisher. And so that's going to affect some of the smaller publishers that don't have a lot of profit coming in through their books. But
yeah,
it'll be interesting how this happens. It's good that it survived. I think it's good for the industry that it survived. We just need to see how this plays out.
For sure.
Well, because also it throws like 3 comic book day into, I don't know what the word is, like I can't think of the right word to use in. But yeah,
understandable. This is a Taylor question we'll get to. Look at that.
Reprint Don Rosa Duck Comics. So they frequently do bring the Duck Comics back to print, but the one thing that's changed, which is up in the air, is that Disney came out and said they will not allow Fantagraphics to reprint one of the pivotal chapters of Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. Now that was a few years ago. There's been some changes in Disney, the Disney brass in that time. I don't know if that's still a policy or not. My best guess is that if they do get reprinted, they might be changed or altered. I would be patient though. I wouldn't, because I know some of those books are like way out of print and go for crazy prices. I'd be patient and maybe just put some eBay searches if you're looking for a particular volume up, and just don't way overpay for them. We had some people say they haven't read Darwin Cook's Spear. I do have one of the hardcovers here. Do you guys have these?
Ooh.
This is like the I forget what company put these out. DC Comics. And it's like a die cut dust jacket. Which is not very friendly. Not very friendly. Yeah, it's not very friendly with shelves because the die cut gets caught. These are like really thin, so you have to be really careful with them. But this collected. I think these hardcovers collected every issue too. But you want some cool Darwin Cook action if you're not familiar with Darwin Cook. Oh, hey, there we go, Gianni. He's got him. I mean, Darwin Cook's artwork fits perfectly with Will Eisner's The Spirit, for sure. So I think I did 2 of those for Darwin Cook. I think there might have been a 3rd volume that collected the continuation of the series. I'm not sure. Maybe Gianni could tell you. But this one is just collecting just the Darwin Cook stuff.
Well, there you go. So yes, this will definitely be a big get for a lot of people. Also in that same vein, we do have the artist edition of Jim Apparo's DC Classics. I've actually started reading some of these Jim Aparo like drawn stories. He did some of the Batman Brave and the Bold issues that are collected in the most recent DC Finest. I have an overview of it coming out in Yeoman Condition sometime this week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. But nonetheless, $150 with all of the cool Brave and the Bold Detective Comics issues, Spectre, you want to name it, in the same trim size as the artist editions. So.
Yeah, I think there's like full issues in here too. So you can actually, some artist editions just collect pages of art. Some of them collect full stories, and this one has full stories. So you'll be able to actually sit there and read them as if Jim Aparo handed you his a full stack of his original art for these issues, and you can read them like that. They're really amazing collections. And just a final note, Jim Aparo, I think, is who Omar cites as his favorite Batman artist.
You know what? That's high praise. I don't disagree with him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the book for 7.5, 8 years.
Yeah.
Also, according to Gianni, the Connoisseur Edition and the hardcovers collect the same material.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Next up, we have Kingspawn Origins, Book 1 from the new Kingspawn line. You got an oversized hardcover collecting the first 12 issues.
I'm assuming this will match the other Spawn Origins books. It looks like it'll have a white spine just to match those two.
Indeed. And yes, like the video, guys. If you're here, don't forget to smash that like button so it helps us out on the algorithm. Next up, we got Local Man by Tim Seeley.
So I was just going to say quickly about Kingsport. I thought that was exciting to see because that would be cool. Because I remember I only read like the first early issues of the series, but I thought they were really cool, and so that was definitely something I'd probably hold out for a compendium myself just to go with the other small compendiums and to get more content in there for the price count. But it's still cool to see at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
It does seem like Todd McFarlane's kind of gone through the Robert Kirkman model of releasing Spawn through compendium, through smaller hardcovers, through slipcases. So definitely a format for everybody.
I wish Jess was here because he would agree with this so hard.
I agree with that. And Neil Adams is getting a artist edition as well soon. So stay tuned.
Yes, indeed. Next up, we got The Local Man deluxe hardcover by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks at $59.99. I don't know if you guys have read this, but I did really enjoy. I only read the first half or so, but it's pretty good.
I've not read this, but the issue 25, isn't that where they jumped ahead in the timeline?
Yeah,
that's what I heard. Yeah, it always looked like fun, and I heard good things, so I'm excited to pick this up.
It'll be interesting how that reads then, because when we do have issue 25 come up in the reading order, you wouldn't. I guess like the proper reading order would be as they came out, like this. Yeah.
So it will be like that. Next up, we got another big one, which is The Old Guard, Volume 1 by Greg Rucka and Leo Fernandez, $39.99, collecting Old Guard 1 through 5 and Force Multiplied issues 1 through 5 as well, coming out on the 2nd of July.
The Immortal Edition. I'm sure this will match the Lazarus hardcover.
Yeah, Lazarus and Black Magic or whatever we have.
Yeah,
Black Magic. Yeah.
You put together your Rucka shelf.
And if anyone had any questions for Greg Rucka, he's doing a AMA on Legal Comic Geeks this week, Thursday. So
well, there you go. Yeah, I know.
No, I was gonna say
for sure. Seems like the year of Rucka with this and Lazarus coming back. I hope it finishes out strong, man. Because there's a lot of Greg Rucka books that remain completely unfinished. There you go. Thank you, James.
Thanks.
The hyperlink. Next up, we got Stand Still by Lee Loveridge, Andrew Robinson, and Alex Regal at $29.99, coming out on the 30th of July, collecting issues 1 through 8. So
this is a cool one. I read the first few issues of it like the end of last year, and it's one of those books that's just done like entirely in like lots of spreads and things. So you just sort of read it like going along, and it gives it that very like cinematic feels. It's like an action packed, very sort of like gritty. It's still like nice and vibrant, as you can see on the cover, but it's got like a nice texture to it. So that was a fun read. I'm excited to read the rest of it.
Andrew Robinson, what other works what has he done? The artist. The name sounds familiar.
Not sure.
Oh, okay.
Although it's interesting to see the Ridge on writing. That was one thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
He is indeed. Speaking of Rucka, I hope we get new editions of stuff. I hope so too. I've met one of the artists for Sumtown. Very, very, very nice people. So definitely one for sure. All right. Next up.
Yeah.
Next up, we do have Complete Witchblade Volume 4 with all of these creators in tow, collecting issues 58 through 85 of Witchblade.
Early Jeff Johns and Francis Vanderpool. So if you're a Ghost Machine fan, there's some early works from the two of them in there.
Yep. It's also got Ron Mars, who I think Omar will be interviewing soon, perhaps.
And Mark Silvestri, obviously, which is also Omar's favorite artist of all time.
I didn't realize it was early Jeff Johns' work as well. I always forget that it's Francis Vanderpool's early work, but that's cool that as well.
I don't know where it is in his timeline. I don't know if what he did before or after this. I just know that was early in his career.
Yeah.
This would have been around 2000. It's after Star and Stripe. The series with Stargirl and
okay.
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, we got a original size or standard size hardcover for Spawn Origins, Volume 16 at $39.99, coming out on the 4th of June, collecting issues 189 to 200.
That was a great looking cover.
Yeah, damn.
This is a great looking cover.
Look at that.
It's Greg Capullo, man.
Gonna love it.
So wait, hold on. So these Origin hardcovers collect about 12 issues per book.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not as popular as a series, but one thing that's been frustrating me about Savage Dragon is that they've been coming out those hardcovers, which are about the same trim size, I think, about 12 issues a book, and volume 3 just now came out, so it's like they're coming out very slowly, and it concerns me that when you have, because if Savage Dragon lasts 300 issues, like it's about to get to 300, we're talking about 25 to 30 volumes of these hardcovers. Will they even get to that point if they keep putting them out as slowly as they are? Because as fans, like, you want to see commitment to the line. So like I always say, like, when one volume comes out, you should have the next one solicited at least to show kind of like the commitment. But we don't even know when Volume 4 of Savage Dragon's coming out, so I don't know. But it does give me hope that, I guess, Spawn's does have a format that's following the same model, but I don't know. I just love Savage Dragon, and I want to read all the entire series, and I wish they would do bigger volumes, but
coming in here with the biggest fan of Eric Larson that I know, which is not a bad thing at all, Taylor.
Oh, Savage Dragon's great. Have you read Savage Dragon?
I've read like one issue.
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, of all the 90s Image stuff, it's the most fun, I feel like. It's like, it has the better story arc to it. It is like fun. It's not just like gritty, violent, dark, menacing. Like, it has that in there too, but it's like fun. The way I always describe it is, it's kind of like Bronze Age comics for, like, if you grew up reading Bronze Age comics as a kid, and then you grew up and wanting like a little bit more violent and gritty comic, then you would read Savage Dragon. Like, it has all that in there. But
interesting stuff. Yeah, we are starting it off with Image, and we got Joe to talk about it this time.
Well, just in time, paperback, Dan. This is the paperback section of Image, so you're perfect timing.
Look at that. We got Letter 44 Compendiumized by Alberto Albuquerque and Charles Soule. I'm collecting the entire series of Letter 44.
Okay, don't make fun of me. I just came out. Is Alberto related to Raphael?
I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't. I just
What
now.
was the joke you were going to throw?
No. That's the first time I ever thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute. Are they brothers or something?
Oh, I see.
I will say that this cover is more intriguing, I think, for a comic book reader than the previous editions. The previous editions were like mostly black, and they look kind of like prose novels. I feel like this looks like a comic book cover, and this is a series that I've wanted to read for a long time. It's supposed to be like a sci-fi political thriller type deal, where it takes place in space, and I like a lot of Charles Soule's a lot of his comics that I've read. So
I just like NASA in general. So yeah, this might be a buy for me, even if I'm not big on compendiums.
Who doesn't like NASA? Did you go to space camp when you were a kid, Dom?
I wanted to be the first Filipino astronaut when I was a kid, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So no space camp though?
I wish.
Okay. I was gonna say
yeah, my dreams were squashed, I'll just say, by a lot of people. So I switched careers somewhere through middle school.
That's unfortunate.
So also what's weird is that this was an Oni press book.
Oh yeah.
It was, yeah.
So
yeah, because Oni Press had the released this in hardcovers, the same trim size as like the Kaiju Max and the Six Gun hardcovers. Like those were all the same. And then they released it in trades there too. But yeah, this is now over at Image with Charles Soule's. This was earlier in his career, I believe. And
yeah, this is a way early Charles Soule.
Yeah, so since then he's done a lot of series with Image. So I'm assuming that's how that happened.
Right, yeah. I guess so.
May perhaps. All right. Next up, we got the Sam and Twitch Spawn Compendium by BMB and BMB and Friends, collecting Sam and Twitch 1 through 26, Case File Sam and Twitch 1 through 25, and Sam and Twitch the Writer 1 through 4.
Now I've not read this, but this was always described to me as like the best written Spawn spinoff or Spawn universe story because it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. I don't know that to be true. That's just what I've heard. But it's like a crime thriller, which I mean, that's where Brian Michael Bendis like sings, right? That's like his bread and butter.
Space Camp Real. Thought that was a TV thing.
Oh, it's very real, and the commercials looked awesome, and every kid wanted to go.
Fair enough. Yeah. Hey, you know what? It would have been cool, and I am already on a career path, guys. I can't switch again. Oh my gosh. All right, next up we got Seasons Volume 1. Joe, have you read this? It's a recommender piece. It's $12.99. Coming on the 18th of June. 4 issues.
No, it's one of those I hadn't got around to yet, but it's everything I heard about it seemed like it was one of those books that's like weird in a like the best way that's supposed to be interesting, but because yeah, I think like some of his books obviously I think read better in a collected form, so this sort of struck me as something that, and I heard that it might be interesting. It's just like reading all the way through, but yeah, like because even the Solicit doesn't give you much information. It talks about like a dark fairy tale ends, and that cover is just so like intriguing.
Yeah,
hey, it looks like an Antonio Vivaldi theme cover to me. But anyways, go ahead, Taylor.
No, I'm a huge fan of Reminder, and it seems like so he had a couple of years where he was kind of slowing down, especially like when Scumbag was coming out. Like he's had a couple series out, but now it's like he's exploded to where now Giant Generator is even putting out stuff that he's not writing. But yeah, Tintin inspired. So of all the new stuff he's been coming out with, like he's going in completely different directions of genre and theme, which I really like that he's like stretching himself. Because like this one it says like Miyazaki and Tintin, sign me up. I'm all about those ideas. But then he's got like Grommets, which is like the skateboarding punk series. Like he's doing all these kind of different things, and I really like that. So this one will be, I'll probably wait till like the hardcovers come out, but I'll read digitally until then because I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, it's cool to see some people in the comments that have been reading it. One thing I will say is as a quick aside, I know we talked about the hardcover for Sacrifices that was listed in previous months, and obviously the paperback. So I read the last issue of the latest arc of that, I think like issue 15 or something, which was just really good. So that comic is still really cool. Definitely worth checking out. I'll be back sometime in the summer.
It's on Hoopla, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah, but I don't want to use one checkout for one issue though. I have to be
Yeah.
stingy with my checkouts. I only get 8 a month. This does have the introductory volume 1 price of $12.99 though. Not 99, not $9.99 like it used to be, but $12.99 is not
and
bad.
for 4 issues, yeah, it's still not bad.
It's cheaper than the single issues.
Yeah.
It's also cheaper than some, let's say, other publishers that publish 4 issues for $19.99 or sometimes $24.99.
Shots fired.
I didn't say any names. I'm gonna cut that out in post. Next up, we got Spawn manga, Shadows of Spawn, by Juzo
Spawn
Tokoro.
manga?
Yeah, Spawn manga.
Damn.
I don't know much about this.
I didn't even know there was a manga, but apparently there's 600 pages of it. So like, I'm kind of intrigued by that. I do love these manga interpretations of American properties. It's just fascinating to see how the Japanese audience and creators interpret what we do over here in America. Like I enjoy like the Deadpool Spawn or Deadpool manga, Bat manga, the Batman one, the classic one for the 60s. I absolutely adore that series. It's just fun to see how they interpret those things because it almost like borders on parody a little bit sometimes. But so I'm not a huge Spawn fan, but I'm kind of intrigued by this, and I love that Image is doing it. We don't see a lot of manga published by Image,
Which is why you gotta buy it at $18 for
Yeah.
600 pages. It's pretty good, honestly. Next up, we got Transformers: The Worst Bot Ever. Meet Ballpoint, an original graphic novel at $12.99 by Brian Smitty Smith and Ainsworth Linsmars Jr. Sounds like a SpongeBob episode.
I love this idea. It's for middle grade. It says, but it's just a comedic Transformers graphic novel for kids. Like, why not?
It's a Decepticon story too. I might buy it. We'll see.
And just worst bot ever. It sounds awesome.
Next up, we got Blood Squad 7 Con Season. This is Volume 2 of Blood Squad 7 Strike. We got Blood Squad 7 Strike File issue number 1 and Blood Squad 7 issues 5 through 8. Collected in here, hey, by Joe Casey and Paul Fry at $12.99.
I'm a big Joe Casey fan, and there's absolutely zero reason why I have not read this yet because I love 90s Image comics, and this is like a tribute and homage to that era. Even includes, it says, guest appearances by Eric Larson Super Patriot, which is an awesome character that debuted in Savage Dragon, and also Shadowhawk, which is another great 90s Image character. So this is Joe Casey and Paul Fry and company bringing back the 90s Image aesthetic. And like I said, there's no reason why I've not read this because it's totally up my alley. Love the writer, love the idea, love the era that they're homaging. I kind of hope it gets into a deluxe hardcover, but I might have to read it digitally in the meantime.
Well, there you go. There you have it, folks. Next up, we got the complete Witchblade trade paperback for $29.99. So if you don't want to pay the hardcover prices, and hey, look who's here!
I would like to point out I am still an hour early from the time that Dom told me.
He's wearing
I see.
He's wearing an awful T-shirt though. What is that?
This is the Teenage Mutant Boston Celtics.
Hey, how's
Oh,
Tatum
boy.
doing?
You mean when Sabonis just shoved his foot under him on a super dirty play?
Oh, it was dirty. No, I was like genuinely. Do they have like a word on how long he's gonna be out?
No, I mean I don't expect to see him before the playoffs.
It looked nasty. Like I don't think I've seen a player look like they're in that much pain in a long time.
Well, and people were pointing out like Tatum has like in his career missed 3 games consecutively once. Like he does not get injured and like he doesn't take games off. So it's I'm not super happy about that.
He looked genuinely in pain. Like it looked awful the way he was like. I don't know.
I mean, ankle injuries are no joke.
No.
I'm hoping that it's one of those things. Just like anyone who's ever dealt with like joint pain, like it can feel super intense in the moment and then like not take a long time afterwards. So I'm hoping that this is not going to be a long time going. But didn't love seeing that.
No.
But
Not-
hey,
not a-
how is everyone else here who's an hour and a half early from when Dom told us the stream was going on?
Is it an hour and a half early?
Oh, I mean, if anyone else was told that it was happening before 12:30, then you guys get information that was privileged and not shared with me.
I forgot, man. Scheduling. I blame scheduling. But anyways, subscribe to our boy Bunk via there. The I spent 100 days not uploading video is one of my favorite videos I think I've ever watched on the YouTubes. So
Well, appreciate that.
Does that make up for it, Bunk?
No, because it's been longer than 100 since my last one. So at this point, I have just accepted my role as the Mike Jones on comic. I don't make my own stuff anymore. You just hear me feature on other people's tracks going, Bonk Master. By the way, shout out. What's up, Gianni? What's up, Jaggernaut? I'm excited to be here now and talk about some comics, especially if we got Criminal starting off here. Because my
we
favorite.
got Volume
series.
7, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Wrong Place. 1699 by the criminally very much well regarded and rated team of Brubaker and Phillips.
And we just saw in the news that Sean Phillips posted his little sketchbook of finishing the original graphic novel that'll be released as the next chapter of Criminal.
Yeah, super excited to see that we officially have that coming out. I'm imagining that'll probably coincide with the either some type of news about the Amazon series or will coincide with the release on it. And of course, I'm going to show off any chance I can get. But
you have some Sean Phillips? Wow.
That's from Coward. Technically, that page is a spoiler, but if you're here, either you already know about it, you're like, I see that, or you're like, I don't understand why that's a spoiler.
That's gorgeous. I can't wait, Bunk, for the first time that Scott Doonbeer, somebody reaches out to you like, hey, you have original art page for this artist edition we're trying to put up together. Can you scan that for us?
So I don't imagine that will ever be my fate. But my buddy Carl from Carl Collects, I'm sure James will be having the link out there. He had an original page from Death of Superman, and he was talking about how DC actually reached out to him, and it's included in the extras in the Absolute, which is just super cool.
That is cool. You have a lot of like image series and things. Scott Doonbeer is doing artist editions through Skybound now. You never know. He might dabble in some image series artist editions.
Yeah, we'll see.
We shall see what the Act 4 has to come in store. Next up, we do have Geiger Volume 3 by Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Paul Pelletier, and a host of different colorists. This is going to collect issues 7 through 9 and the Ground Zero 2-shot. I know some people were wondering about when Omar announced the Geiger hardcover volume 2. People were asking if the Ground Zero issues were ever going to be collected, but this will be collected in the third deluxe hardcover of Geiger. If everybody is out there buying the oversized, but if you are buying the trade paperbacks, this is where it is going to be collected.
Which issues are in the second volume of the hardcovers then?
The 1 through 6 of the relaunch.
Okay.
So there was the first original Geiger series in 2021, right? That kicked
Okay.
off Jeff Johns' Image post-career or post-DC career. And then the relaunch is volume 2. This is volume 3.
So this trade paperback takes place after the second hardcover.
Correct.
Like all the issues do. Okay.
Correct.
I got to agree with Fear Monarch on that. At this point, with both Ghost Machine and Remender stuff, it's so hard to justify the trades because if you've waited and you're not picking it up on single issues, you know that you're going to get a beautifully made, humongous book coming out not long after that for a really, really reasonable price for what you're getting on that.
Yeah, the only people buying these kinds of trades are people that are named like Paperback Dan.
There you go. Shots fired. Clip that, James. Next up, we got hack/body bags. $12.99 collecting hack/body bags 1 through 4. So if you are a hack/ and or Tim Seeley fan, this is the one for you.
I should say Dan's a friend of mine, so I can make fun of him.
Wow.
I wasn't just making fun of a random viewer that I don't know.
Just a quick shout out. Even those that are not hack/ fans, Zoe Thorogood, the last new hack/ that came out
Yes.
before this was Zoe Thorogood's Back to School series, which is kind of about the main character of this series as she gets into the sort of school. It's almost like a House of Slaughter for Something Is Killing the Children. She writes it, she draws it. There's some incredibly heartbreaking human moments in that book. Highly, highly recommend, even if you are not a hack/ fan.
Zoe Thorogood's art that she's been posting for the series she's working on now is incredible.
Yeah.
Like I always thought she was a good artist, but like the stuff she's like leveled up. It's insane.
It is indeed insane. Next up, we got.
I have no interest in any other hack/, but that was a great series by Zoe Thorogood.
Yeah, I'd say I'm the same way. Like I have through one of the Image Humble bundles, I have like the digital catalog of hack/, and I've read through some of it, and it's pretty fun. Like it's nothing I feel like I need to read, but I'm never disappointed in reading it. Like the only thing where I've been like, yes, I am actively picking this up and I love this is Back to School.
All right. Well, there you go. There are 3 endorsements for Zoe Thorogood. Next up, we got Invincible Volume 10, new edition, $14.99. For all those who want to read the series in the tiny trade paperbacks, collecting 54 to 59, and Astounding Wolfman, issue 11.
For all those people that love Astounding Wolfman and just can't get enough.
Is that you?
No, that is decidedly not me. I did back in the day when I did pick up the like issue 1 free comic book day issue because I was super excited at that point between Walking Dead and Invincible. Kirkman was like king of the world, and it was like, yes, a new series launching, and I read that and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna skip this one. I was very happy to have done that.
Yeah, that's the one that Omnidog famously poured root beer on the hardcover.
I mean, I think the bigger issue was just him buying the hardcover in the first place.
Shots fired. See, we got shots fired everywhere. Everyone. We got Snot Girl Volume 4 though by Brian Lee O'Malley and Leslie Hung, $15.99, collecting 16 through 20.
Joe, were you going to say something before we kind of walked all over?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were in the process of something. Then we're like, silly jokes that have nothing to do with comics.
No.
And yeah, that is it. Paperback Dan says he doesn't get the Wolfman hate.
I haven't read it, to be fair, so I'm not gonna say anything either way.
No, I got nothing.
It's an entirely fine series. It's just, I would argue, like, you can call Kirkman a lot of things, and people have. Boring is not typically one of them. And I would say Astounding Wolfman was maybe the most boring of the Kirkman series I've read. It's very standard, like, oh my gosh, I have a secret, I'm changing, and he tries to get it deeper into the broader Kirkman universe. Didn't hit for me, but I love that people love comics. So hey, more power to you.
And that is all the wrap up we do have for Image Comics. I'd like to thank our sponsor from Europe, Walt's Comic Shop, where if we send you over, you send us over to them, you will get free shipping in on your next order. Someone want to do the tingle? Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and collected editions in Europe.
Ting. Ting.
I need to get like a triangle for you. Like,
we need to get one. We'll ask Walt's Comic Shop to give us a triangle for the next time we do it.
Walt's a good dude. I feel like he'd be down for that.
He is. He's a great
I'm just
guy.
worried about the tariffs on that crossing the ocean if he's shipping it out from there.
I don't know if he's that good of a guy. Those tariffs are pretty nasty. Just kidding, Walt.
Here is a James book to round out the first of Dark Horse, which is ElfQuest Book 3, Wolf Blood Caged, $29.99, coming on the 19th of August.
It's another one of those series that's being put out very slowly. ElfQuest has so many issues. I don't even know how many issues. I don't even know if they kept the single issue count or whatever, but they need to go like the big fat compendium route, I feel like. But
that's what I'm a little surprised at. This hardcover, you would think that they're like trying to like do the whole big back issue, but it's only, it's keeping the original book 3, what is that, 192 pages?
Yeah,
it's gonna take a minute.
Will take a while for ElfQuest to get rolling. Next up, we do have Ayanu Child of Wonder Library Edition Volume 1 at $49.99, 256 pages in the nice library oversized format that Dark Horse has, collecting volumes 1 through... I really wish they weren't.
They did it again. Stop that. Publishers, all of you, stop that.
I need to... If it's an animated series now on Cartoon Network, I also need to check that out. But it's been a while since
I love that comment from... Sorry, I love that comment from Always an Instigator.
Walt needs to record a video of himself playing the triangle to put up the ting part like Omar has when Japan goes.
Only I want it to be like a little circle that pops up on the screen where he's like in the background.
We need to do that. He's busy recording right now, but I'll send in a message when he's finished. So, Mitts, Tales from the Cosmos by Corin Lorimer, Kendra Wells, and Jasmine Walls, illustrated by Alejandro Aragon and others. $29.99, 160 pages. Coming out on the 12th of August. This collects Mitts, Address Unknown, The Valorous Farmer, Ripples, and sketchbook material.
Yeah, this looks like a Critical Role comic. I'm not familiar with that brand of comics, but I mean, I know what Critical Role is, but I've never read any of those comics. That's what I'm trying to say.
If Fit the Jack is in the house, I know he's a big fan of that and has been going on about that. I bet he could tell us.
Where is he?
Probably delivering comics to people.
That's
that
right.
man during the day stays busy.
That's right. That's right.
Don't comment and drive, kids. It's not good for the soul or for the police. Next up, we got Rolf and Other Fantasy Stories by Richard Corbin at $39.99, 128 pages. This is going to collect Rolf, the Beast of Wolfton, the Spirit of the Beast, backup material, and the story of Oteg.
You guys want some good Wolfman stories, some good werewolf stories? Just kidding. But I am so stoked for this. Richard Corbin. I've been reading through the Din volumes, like just in the past couple of weeks. Every time I read more Richard Corbin, I want more. So I'm so glad that Dark Horse has been putting out the Richard Corbin library with incredible restoration by Jose Villarrubia. Like Richard Corbin's art is unlike anything you'll ever see, and in most of his artwork he was doing in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and still today in 2025 it looks unlike anything you'll see. Incredible stuff. Like he was just the things he was doing with color and before even digital. Like you read his earliest comics and they look like he was using digital techniques, but it's all practical, even the color. So I'm super stoked about this.
As you should be. Yes, they are standard size RWB, but they're in full color now.
That book said it's got an intro from Hayao Miyazaki. Let's say.
Oh, sorry.
That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, each of these Richard Corbin volumes have had an introduction by a different person. They've had like Colin Bunn, Matt Kent did one. Trying to think, I have them all right here. But
I love Colin Bunn and Matt Kent, but getting an intro by Hayao Miyazaki is not on the same level as getting from those guys.
Walt Simonson. Yeah, so I mean, the fact that Miyazaki is a fan of Corbin, like just think about the names that are huge fans of Corbin. It's who's who in comics. But yeah, Miyazaki obviously is probably the biggest name of all of them. But
There you go. So new introductions, new all the things. You got other fantasy stories recommended by Taylor. And then we got the Witcher Library Edition Volume 3. You've got this for retail at $59.99, coming out on the 26th of August, collecting the Ballad of Two Wolves 1 through 4, Wild Animals 1 through 4, Corvo Bianco 1 through 5, the 2023 FCBD story Frog Kiss, a cover gallery with an expanded sketchbook session.
Now, these ones are all based on the original novels, not the video games, right?
You're correct.
Nice.
Trade paperbacks. We're going to run in with Atabana Volume 1 by None. $14.99, 200 pages. Double murder in a manga.
Is this a... Oh, Volume 1. Never mind. I was hoping this was an all-in-one, because a horrifying double murder leads to a confession, uncovers a dark secret. Like, I'm super in on that, and then if it was a one and done, like I'm all there. But long running series, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know, but the double murders of a student and a ramen shop owner. Does that entice you anymore? The cover looks great.
Honestly, you had me until a ramen shop owner, or like that. If you murder the ramen shop owner, that means we get less ramen. Like that's you're kind of losing me there.
Right. So you have to find out who did that, so you can do what you need to do.
Yeah, but that's not going to get you more ramen. The ramen shop owner is going to be more dead. Or like he's still dead. He hasn't been like, aha, you solved my murder. I've come back from the grave to now cook you delicious shio and show you.
Then we'll just need Bunkmaster B to open up Bunkmaster's ramen shop.
That's the only solution I can think of too. Well played.
That's your next video right there.
I will say all of the manga from Dark Horse is put up on Hoopla if you're a Hoopla reader.
Huh.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind.
And that was Ramen Corner.
Oh my gosh. Next up, we got Akina by Mateos Casali and Rachel Aragno.
Wait. That was absolutely Joe, as the official pronunciator of Near Mint Condition, could you please read that illustrator's name?
Which one? Both of them.
What?
Both.
I mean both, please, but start with Rochelle.
Rochelle Aragno, Clarissa Sassini or Zacchini.
Perfect. There we go. We can now move on in peace.
Yeah, last month, Joe, we didn't pronounce anybody's names. We didn't say anybody's names because you weren't here.
Joe and I, or Dom and I, just like stared at each other the whole time and were like, and we have this book presented by
Dead Air.
Joe will tell you. Go ask Joe; he'll tell you.
He is the pronunciation guy. All right, next up, we got Barstow by Rebecca McKendry, David McKendry, Tyler Jenkins, and Justin Birch at $19.99, 144 pages, collecting 1 through 4 of the miniseries. I've never read this. But it is a comedy horror.
This is a Tyler Jenkins creation that is not done with Matt Kint. I feel like those two have been like so synonymous over the last few years that you haven't really seen Jenkins without Matt Kint and on the writing behind it.
Didn't Tyler Jenkins do his own series recently? Or am I mixing up? Am I mixing up one?
He very well may have. The last thing I remember him coming out with was Hairball, which was done through the Matt Kint imprint. But that was, at this point, probably a few years ago.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Borderlands, Moxie's Mysterious Memento by Amy Chu and Mike Norton. $19.99, 96 pages, collecting issues 1 through 4 of Moxie's Mysterious Memento.
It sure is.
Yeah. I don't play Borderlands.
Anybody get their Fantagraphics certificates from the Fantagraphics sale yet? Taylor,
I have not got mine, but they said they have until like Friday or something. Okay. So after Friday, if you don't get them, then you can start emailing them, I guess, and asking where they are. But they're really good about getting back
just
to you.
DM Taylor. Just ask Taylor directly, where are my Fantagraphics? That is the fastest way to find out.
They're really good about getting back to you through email and things. So don't worry, they'll be there.
All right, we got it, Taylor. They'll be there. We'll be there. Cat and Gamer, Volume 8 by Wataru Nadatani, $11.99, 160 pages, coming out on the 26th of August.
I do. Does anybody in the chat or anybody here know? Is this like all ages?
Yeah, it should be all ages.
I didn't know if it's like teen or because my son loves video games and cats, and he's always looking for new manga to read.
This will be the book for you then.
I just didn't know if this is appropriate for him or not.
Hopefully, it's a book for him.
Zach Davison on like translation and things as well, adaptation. Is I know he does a lot of work with Peach Momoko as well.
So yeah, which is a cool thing. Next up, we got Critical Role Bell's Hell's Coloring Book, $19.99, 96 pages. So if you're interested in a coloring book, there is the spot for you. EC Archives, Two Fisted Tales, Volume 2, $19.99, 216 pages, coming out on the 26th of August. This is a big Taylor sponsor.
These are magazine trim size. So for $19.99, you're getting full color comics. And these will be some of the best war comics you've ever read in your life. Harvey Kurtzman like transformed the war genre to make war stories that are truly harrowing, where there are no winners. Because if you think about it, there are no winners in war. It shows like the harrowing sides of war. This also includes Corpse of the Imjin, which is probably the most famous Kurtzman war comic that he wrote and drew. But Kurtzman also did all the layouts for he wrote all of these, and he did all the layouts for the artists for all the stories as well. So you're going to see some Wally Wood and John Severin drawing over the top of Kurtzman's layouts. If you're a fan of war comics, and the fact that it's volume 2, don't worry about that either. They're all one and done stories. You don't need to start with volume 1. But if you're a fan of war comics, pick this up.
And I mean, when they say, it says somewhere there, like in an affordably priced paperback volume, like they're not kidding. Like that's $20, retail, $20 for 200 plus pages. Especially if you go through one of the channel sponsors, you'll get it even cheaper than that.
And it's magazine trim size. It's not standard sized. I don't know if I have one here to show off, but.
All right. Next up on the list, we do have another James-led book, if he is here. Gunsmith Cats Omni Volume 3 at $29.99, 656 pages, coming out on the 23rd of September. This collects book stuff in Volume 3.
There's also a Josh Greathouse book. He's always telling us to buy 5 volumes of each, or 5 copies of each volume.
That's also true.
I will say I watched Omar's overview of this because this is a series I've always heard was kind of up my alley. And I watched his overview and I was sold on it. So I might have to start picking these up. I mean, $30 for 600 pages because it's like Tankobon size, I think, too. I don't know. I might go the digital route, but regardless, I want to read these.
Yeah, I might go. I don't know. We'll see. Because I enjoyed Omar's thoughts on it as well. Just never gotten around to it, I suppose. Next up, we got Master of the Universe, TMNT, Turtles of Grayskull. So you got some crossovers here with another Freddie E. Williams II illustrated TMNT tale, collecting the 4-issue series.
Notably written by Tim Seeley. So,
He's shown up a lot of the Solicits.
Fun, big action going there. And of course, who won't the TMNT crossover with these days?
They've also released a lot of action figures of the. I don't know if it was a tie-in to this exact series, but there has been some He-Man Turtles crossover action figures I've seen in the stores. So you can buy this book and display your cool TMNT He-Man figures. But if you're a kid of the 80s, I mean, this is like a dream for you, right?
Now, will you need the action figures to fill in the backstory that's given by this? Are there little lore nuggets that the action figures give you?
The old He-Man figures did come with like little mini comics. It would be really cool if they did that.
Mini comics, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think no.
Interesting. Next up on the list, we got Riptide by Alex Ved, $24.99 at 224 pages. This is an original graphic novel.
Ooh.
That's a pretty cool cover, too. I like Krakens.
Oh, that looks awesome.
It's Cold War. It's got a mission. You know what? This might be one to pick up. This looks really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see some interior art too. It looks kind of like a really cool European comic,
Kind of does.
which it possibly is. That
Yeah,
name-
I don't see anywhere where it mentions issue number. So either this is a localization or an OGN coming out, I would assume.
You're correct. And then next up, we got the last one here in the bunch, Those Not Afraid by Kyle Starks, who has been pretty big, man. I've been enjoying a lot of the series. Has been doing 1999, 112 pages, coming out on the 26th of August, collecting issues.
friend of the
4.
channel too.
Yeah.
Incredible Glenn Fabry covers also. Nice.
Yeah, that premise always sounds like fun. Especially from Carl Starks.
Oh. Hey, Joe, how do you pronounce that illustrator's name?
We go on to full screen. Patrick Piazza Lunga.
It's like Mike Piazza with his lungs. I don't know.
Piazza.
On that note, I do have to leave, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you as always. This was fun to pop in.
I'm glad we could send you off in style.
Yes, yeah. All the best of the rest of the stream and the pronunciations.
Oh yeah, no, just we're not saying any more creator names after this.
Or just
You pre-recorded them for us, right? So we can just like.
Oh yeah. Of course, like the Japan.
Indeed. But yes, you can check out Joe on all the thingies. Thank you to James, and we will catch you later, Joe.
Bye.
All right. That's it for Dark Horse. And I suppose that we should bring us on to Boom, which Bunk actually correctly called out to me on a text beforehand. Yeah, there are some things that are here that have already been solicited that you can order again with a different code because of the PRH and diamond situation. It's kind of skeezy, but we will get through it nonetheless.
Wait, hold on. Go back up. Is that a comic releases joke there? Scroll back down. All dates are subject to change due to paper shortages, printer jams, and shipping conflicts.
It's been like that since we got solicited.
But printer jams, as a publisher said, there's a printer jam, so they couldn't print a book on time. It's like an Office Space joke.
Well, we are big fans of The Office, so yeah.
But for real, there's going to be a lot on here that if you want to hear our full thoughts, just go back to January where we talk a lot about a lot of these right here.
Yeah. Some of these, like, we don't even have the covers because, again, the weird PRH diamond situation. It's really hard to talk about these without a cover, though. I won't lie. Like, Vanguard's complete collection coming on the 3rd of June, 1999.
The next one, Bunk and I waxed poetic for quite a bit on that.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, like this one we've already.
Yeah.
Just buy it. There's 12 issues for $20.
It's great. It's fun. Boy Scouts are actually a secret espionage troop who are doing wet works all over the world on the cover that they're going on like camping trips. It's great. And then
we got Garfield, which we've already talked about previously. Volume 6, heavy vinyl, 1999, 224 pages. This has also been previously solicited. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Death Ranger Part 1. Have you caught up yet, Bunk, with Power Rangers?
Have I caught up yet? Bro. Yes. I'm the Yes. I
he is so caught up that
caught up with Power Rangers.
He's further ahead than the writers and artists. He knows what's happening before they do.
Yes, I'm currently on Prime, which is going on right now. Last time we talked about this, I talked about where it fits in the chronology. I showed all of my variants from all of those going through right there. Yes, Dom, I have caught up on Power Rangers.
I tripped up on 5 bar stools trying to ask that question.
So what I can do, because this was not in the last solicitation right here. So Prime is the new series that's coming out. So Melissa Flores, who was the last writer on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series that was started by Kyle Higgins and went through, she was the one that shut that universe down. They took a break. This is a complete relaunch. It's a different universe. It's telling entirely new stories of this new world where basically the Altarians have colonized Earth. It feels like a little bit like they're kind of doing some invincible things. It feels a little bit Saiyan-y. And the Power Rangers here are like a freedom resistance force. It brings in VR Troopers, another Haim Saban property from the 1990s. Rita is like acting as like the new Zordon figure here, but she's not like a good guy. It feels very much like Power Rangers fan fiction, but they're doing some interesting things. Dom, have you caught up on Power Rangers?
Where are you in your Power Rangers reading?
I know when the second printings of certain issues come out because people have been up in arms with Prime and they really like it. So I read issue 1, if that counts.
Okay,
so no, I'm not caught up on Power Rangers.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
How dare you question Bunk?
Listen, if there is one comic series I can be relied upon to know about, it's Power Rangers. Like everything else, I'm going to be 5 years behind. But I will be up to date on my Power Rangers. That's like my one brand that it's just. Do you know how often I get tagged on NMC Discord to like map out Power Rangers for someone on the spot?
Yes.
Telling Bunk's story.
Oh my gosh. There we go. I have created an insight of drama today with my lack of knowledge of Power Rangers. But here's a question for you: Is I think it's too. Would you say it's too early to judge based on how many issues of Prime has only been out?
I guess it would come down to what Dan is talking about. If he's talking about the Death Ranger stuff that's going, that was before. That actually contains a lot of the stuff from Ryan Higgins. And Ryan Higgins is actually my favorite Power Rangers writer. I love the sort of the world building that Kyle Higgins did. Ryan Parrott. I just combined the two of them. I actually think that Ryan Parrott did a better job of sort of capturing the characters. He started with Go-Go, which was a lot more sort of like the smaller character moments. It was a lot more of sort of the Rangers in the suits than it was necessarily the big Ranger battles and doing the new mythology. So I thought that Ryan Parrott did great. Once Parrott jumps off on issue 100, honestly, I think they should have just ended right there. Melissa Flores came in, and I think it was a little bit tough because it felt like that was a stopping point, and it felt very much like she just ran back Shattered Grid. If anyone's ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, it feels kind of like she came in for like the Three Kings tournament, where it's like the show felt like it already ended, and then they just needed to like do another tournament arc that felt completely tacked on. I'm interested to see what happens with Prime with her when she has some like room to breathe. Flores' stuff post Higgins was not my favorite. It honestly felt a little bit like watching an explosion happen in slow motion, where it was like everything, it was so action-packed. Oh my gosh, the stakes are so high, but like things didn't really move that fast. So her stuff on the mainline title is not my favorite. Prime is interesting. I think it still needs some more time to see where it goes, but it does kind of feel, like I said before, a little bit like it's Power Rangers fan fiction. So I don't know. She's doing some interesting things.
For sure. Next up on the list, and last on the list, we do have SIR by Fellhound coming out on the 3rd of June at $16.99, 144 pages.
Motorcycle jousting.
I like Carfu. That's why I like the Fast and Furious franchise. So instead of that, we have motor jousting. Is that the taste and term? But yes, that is it for Boom. Again, we do have the move to PRH, so less solicits in the room there. IDW, we've got George Takei's It Rhymes with Takei, $29.99, 336 pages from the creator who brought us They Called Us Enemy, one of my favorite graphic novels of the last couple of years. Coming on the 10th of June once again.
Yeah, They Called Us Enemy was one of the evergreen titles that we voted on that every library should have a copy of.
Which I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. So yes, you've got the decision to come out of the closet. So yeah, another one of these sort of autobiographical graphic novels as Taylor is back.
Sorry, I got a delivery. I had to go upstairs and grab it.
Oh, I hope it's a stack of Power Rangers comics.
It's a lot of comics, but no Power Rangers.
Ah,
I mean, are they even comics at that point then?
I think Savage Dragon Volume 3 is in there, though.
So are they even comics at that point?
Oh, bunk.
ah, you guys are funny.
Oh, perfect timing.
Oh, there we go. We got an artist edition of the original Mr. Miracle.
I am so freaking excited about this. I own a lot of artist editions, but I don't own any Jack Kirby. I'm out of breath. Hold on. Woo. Jack Kirby is obviously my favorite artist of all time, if anybody's ever seen any of my content. But this also includes full issues because this was in the 70s when Jack was actually scanning a lot of his original art in, because this was after he got into the big dispute with Marvel about returning his artwork. So he actually scanned in a lot of this. So there's actually a lot of this available, full issues, including one of my all-time favorite comic book issues.
And which issue is that?
Oh, Mr. Miracle number 9.
Nice.
There you go. Taylor is going to be buying 2 of these.
I don't know about 2, but
if you have the old
I have those.
omnibus, which is not an actual omnibus, but back when they like put this together, a lot of that stuff is contained in this first volume right here.
Yeah, I actually have. I've been collecting those Jack Kirby omnibus versions. As I sold my old ones because even though they are smaller trim size, I like the paper art stock.
Yeah, the paper you get, like it's the old newsprint, and it looks like it would have back in that point. It's not like a kind of modern glossy. It reprints it as it would have looked, and of course it goes chronologically just like you would expect. So you start with Forever People, you get Jimmy Olsen, and then you start going through. I mean, like look at that cover. Like, how do you not want this era of Jack Kirby in the biggest size you can get?
Yes, I love those volumes. I just read my OMAC volume. I just finished it. I'm going to do a video on it soon. But yeah, the paper stock in those looks great. The colors have never looked better. I prefer that to even the absolute editions, which I know people will probably say I'm crazy. Plus, they're just easier to carry around. I used to have like the big fat omnibus that collected all 4 volumes of what you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't lug that thing around. And I like to read. I've read Fourth World a number of times, so I like to just throw a volume in my backpack and go on the go.
What you're saying is we need a DC compact edition of Mr. Miracle, not the Tom King one, but the Jack Kirby issue.
If they did DC compacts of any of Jack Kirby's stuff, I would buy it. Easy.
It's a lot of words though, mixed in a 6x9 format though.
By the way, Josh Greathouse has a question in the chat that I think we should take a look at.
Oh yeah, I start a show at 11. I will. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp on that now.
I would argue those Jack Kirby comics don't have any more words than like Watchmen, and they did Watchmen in compact.
I would argue very few comics have more words than Watchmen.
See, put Kirby in compact size. Kirby compact. There you go.
Would love a 2001 Space Odyssey Artist Edition or any collected edition omnibus, what you call it, but I know that there is rights that would have to be sorted out.
I have all 10 issues of 2001 right here. Handy. Look at this. I do not have the Treasury Edition. That's like my all-time holy grail of grails that I'm trying to hunt down for a good price. But I have the 10-issue series that he followed up with it. Because this will never be, I don't think this will ever be collected anywhere. This is also where you got Machine Man's first appearance. which for some stupid reason, I wanted to collect those 10 issues just to read them. And because Machine Man's first appearance is on there and there's speculation that he may or may not appear in the MCU, that issue was like an arm and a leg to freaking track down.
I just assume it's full of Next Wave fans who just love Aaron Stark so much that they need to have his first appearance.
I would hope so, because then those would probably be people that want to actually read the great Jack Kirby comics. But I think it's more people that want to put them in plastic prisons and act like they're worth millions of dollars.
Now, what if they turn them into an NFT?
I mean, NFT, cryptocurrency, something, They send it to the cloud, it becomes worth even more.
Marvel tried to do something like that when they did a giveaway for some of the people who had like a Marvel Insider. There were some X-Men issues that they turned into NFTs for the giveaway. I won one of them.
Sweet.
I don't own it anymore.
As someone who was happily in right-click save as gang, how you like that PNG file hanging out on your desktop?
It's my favorite file to look at.
There you go.
Last but not least, we do have TMNT Volume 1 Return to New York Library Edition, which is their way of saying oversized deluxe hardcover by Jason Aaron, and of course Rafa Albuquerque, Chris Burnham, Derek Robertson, and Joelle Jones. $49.99, 200 pages, collecting the first 6 issues of the series.
If you guys have not been checking this out, like all through there, they get a different artist to go. Cliff Chang is on issue 3. This art is beautiful. It deserves to be in as large a format as possible.
So yes. On to the trade paperbacks. We got Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater by Tom Scioli, collecting issues 1 through 3 of Monsterpiece Theater.
I cannot wait for this. Tom Scioli is one of my favorite artists in comics. I will read anything he puts out. He only does fun comics. If you want to read fun comics, pick up a Tom Scioli comic. He did Fantastic Four Grand Design, Jack Kirby Epic Life of Comics. He did the I'm Stan. He did American Barbarian. He did the G.I. Joe versus Transformers series. All of his comics are a blast. And this is a mashup of Godzilla with classic literary comics, or literary stories, sorry. Like The Great Gatsby, Sherlock Holmes, The Time Machine.
If anyone remembers the book series that came out about like 15 years ago, like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and all of it, it's that same idea with Godzilla. And speaking of grand design, I wish this was coming out in the Marvel Treasury Edition size, where like I think that would look so good for this. And I agree. The first thing I looked at was like, what trim size? Oh, it's just regular paper.
I agree 100%. I felt the same way about his GoBot series. He came out with the GoBot series that was only in trade paperback. I do have the Transformers versus G.I. Joe hardcover that's oversized. But
Panels with Pete saying, gotta get anything Scioli makes, and I don't disagree with that. Next up, we got Carmopolis, The Land of Cars, Book 1, $14.99 by Nick. Okay, I wish Joe was here. We're going to pretend that Joe said the name.
Bertozzi.
Bertozzi. Coming on the 1st of July. Next up, we have TMNT and Naruto. I read the first issue of this. I did not know that I needed this crossover, but it reminded me of how great it was to be 8 years old with no responsibilities. $16.99, it's 96 pages by Henry Prasetya and Caleb, I cannot say these names, Gailner.
Notably, Hendry is the original artist on the Kyle Higgins era of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So if anyone has that year one and loved the sort of depiction of your, 80s and 90s Saturday morning cartoon characters, you're getting more of that here.
Why wouldn't I know Naruto, Josh? What are you trying to insinuate?
I have not read any of this, but I've heard it's tons and tons of fun, which is all you really want from a series that's a mashup like this. I mean, like, you look at that cover, it looks fun.
It is. It is indeed. Look at that. Everybody. Oh, never mind. James said that Sonic and DC was better. I haven't read Sonic and DC yet. I don't, all, I will say I avoid manga. I don't necessarily avoid anime, Josh.
And Jess watches some anime. Come on now. He's a big Cowboy Bebop fan.
Hey, look at that. We can agree on something. And if you want the regular trade of Jason Aaron's TMNT, you can get that for $19.99 at the same release date.
Now, do we think the hardcover is setting a precedent of what we can expect for the hardcovers of this series going forward? Like, do we think they're only going to do 6 issues per, or do we think they're going to do like what they did with the previous IDW series?
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the library edition. Like, no, I don't think they're going to library edition, like super oversized artist edition, the rest of it. I would imagine with the success that they had with the IDW collection with the previous one, that we will see some type of big oversized editions coming later, especially with a name like Jason Aaron on it. I mean, these have been, I would venture to say, just from the limited sales data I've seen from my comic shop and the way that it's being reported on League of Comic Geeks, that this is probably IDW's #1 best-selling monthly title right now.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I keep looking for a time to jump off the series. I'm pulling this monthly. I wanted to do it just with the first 4 because of the artist that they had on it. And I keep waiting. I'm like, okay, this is a big enough series. It doesn't need my monthly dollars. I can pick this up in, I can read it digitally. I can pick it up in trade. I'm going to jump off the monthly game on it. And it continues to be so good that every time I'm like, okay, this is going to be the last one. I'm going to switch over here. I'm like, I don't want to get off this series yet.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, TMNT period has been keeping IDW afloat. Like, the last Rodent series was one of the best-selling comics, period, when that was coming out. Like, Marvel, DC, everything. So this has just been another layer of great-selling TMNT titles. And I guess we do have a precedent because they had the different phases of the Transformers hardcovers that they did. Yeah. So they kept the same in line with that. So I guess for them to eventually do a volume 1 of this new phase of TMNT would make sense.
Mm-hmm. And I could expect, them doing like compendiums down the line, like, the big, like.
Well, they did the same thing with the IDW collection, where they started as, the IDW collection was, like 2, basically 2 trades, and it was the big oversized. And then years later, they released those in paperback, where it was, still like your big chunky, like paperback that was like that. They're trying to get that Turtles dollars.
Yeah. It's making them a lot of money. And Jason,
speaking of Turtles,
yes,
this is a series. No, keep the next book. I was trying to segue. Sorry. I'm hoping they come out with a big fat collection of these series, because I've not read any of these Saturday Morning Card Adventures, but I do love the old Archie series, which we are getting a hardcover version of that. This is kind of in the same vein because it's in that same universe. But I kind of want a big fat collection of these comics rather than these small trades, which I understand why they're doing small trades. They're more, kid friendly, but.
Didn't we see a solicit for like a big collection on one of these? Did we do that last month?
Not these. They're the old Archie comics.
Okay.
TMNT Adventures, like Archie put them out back in the day. There's like 70 or 80 issues of that.
I thought we had the new Saturday Morning. I feel like that's coming too at some point.
I hope so.
Real quick, Sly Blue Demon. Yeah, you can absolutely jump into the new run. If you care about going back, there are going to be probably some slight spoilers for the end of that run. So, but it's not a huge deal.
The perfect jumping on point. Justin also says, I know it's an indie one, but hey, ordered their first DC Finest trade paperback with year 1 and year 2 of Batman. You need to pick up Superman Finest at some point too. It's got a lot of his it's Action Comics 1 through 25, New York World's Fair #1, and then Superman 1 through 5. So it's a lot of Golden Age. So yes, that is all we do have for IDW. Now on to Titan. Once again, they are shipping with Lunar, and there have been some inconsistencies with the product codes and whatnot. But Anyways, we're starting it off with the compendium, or the complete series omnibus of Blade Runner 2029, collecting Reunion, Echoes, and Redemption.
Do we have a trim size on this?
Let me see if I could pull that up right now.
Because I love Blade Runner, the movies, 2049 and the original. Both the final cut and the original theatrical cut, by the way. But I've never read any of these comics, and I'm glad that they're putting them out. I thought about getting the box set trade paperbacks. I think we're going to see one of those later here. But these all-in-one omnibuses that I think Omar announced all of them, I'm very much intrigued by.
Let's see. Reunion.
But I didn't know, since they're doing the Conan omnibuses, if their omnibus line will be...
They're library sized.
They're library sized?
Yeah.
Wow.
All
right. I'm going to fork down my dollars for this. Anybody in the chat, if you've read any of these comics, let me know how they are, because they look awesome. And like I said, I love Blade Runner.
We do indeed. We got Conan Volume 7 and Volume 5. We got Conan Volume 7 and then also Volume 5. Gosh, I cannot speak today. For the Omnis, for Volume 7, this is $125, collecting issues 172 to 194, and annuals 10 through 11. And then for Volume 5, this collects Conan 116 to 149, annuals 6 through 9, Conan of the Isles, and What If 39. I'll also like to let Josh know that I have started reading Titan Conan, even though I usually don't read Conan, by Jim Zub, and I'm going to say, yeah, it's a pretty enjoyable read so far.
That's awesome. We heard that. Actually, we heard Low Hit in the chat. I don't know if he's still there. He talked to Jim Sub personally a couple weeks ago, and Jim Sub said he's going to go up to issue 50 on his series. So it's pretty exciting.
How far am I? Second trade paperback's worth. So yes, Conan is pretty good. I'm still not ever searching out for it, but it is pretty good. Next up, we got Death Sentence, the complete collection. We got the regular and then the DM, both by Martin Simmons, coming out on the 25th of June at $49.99, collecting volumes 1 through 3 of Death Sentence.
Is this a old series?
This is an old series.
Because Martin Simmons, is this after he did Department of Truth?
I don't think so.
Because I'm a huge fan of his work on Department of Truth. And this is a hardcover, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a hardcover.
It's like collecting old work, probably. Because I haven't heard of him doing a series anytime recently.
This is the first that I've heard of it. Oh, 25th. Okay, yeah, early 2010s.
Man, I'm gonna pick this up just because I'm curious what his artwork looked like before Department of Truth. It looks like he was still painting and stuff.
Yeah.
I love his artwork, though. I'm a huge Bill Sienkiewicz fan, and anybody that does anything similar to what Bill Sienkiewicz did, sign me up.
He's completely in. $49.99 for those wondering out there on the 25th of June for the release date. Donlan's hardcover by Norm Conyu at $29.99, coming out on the 4th of June. This is an original graphic novel about a 14-year-old James Reynolds becoming obsessed with the tale of a black hound. It's got a lot of folklore in this. $29.99. A way old Simon's work. Hey, Josh, I'm trying to invest in a very expensive but less quiet. It's hard navigating through files, man.
I love the clicking, clacking of the keyboard. It's kind of like it's like I'm doing research. Look at me. It's like when like the old newscasters used to like shuffle the papers on the radio.
Yeah. It's the new part.
So back off, Josh. I'll defend Dom.
I'm trying my best. Hagar the Horrible, the first 50 years by Mr. Brown at $49.99, coming out on the 11th of June.
Classic newspaper comic.
Yep. Continuing on, we got Hawk Moon, the Black Jewel hardcover, $19.99, coming out on the 18th of June. Adapted from the Michael Moorcock novel set with aliens, monsters, and magic creatures.
That cover looks awesome, and I love the idea of post-apocalyptic age with aliens, monsters. I'm not Michael Moorcock his comics and like the comics that are adapting his novels are something I want to dive into. I don't know where to start.
This might be your one.
Maybe just dive in, right?
Yeah, that's what people tell us to do, right?
That's what we used to do in comics back in the day. You never got to pick up issue number 1 of a series.
Exactly. You get on 272 and you're like, what's going on? I want to know more.
Yeah.
We got a volume 1. We got a number 1 though for King Conan. We got King Conan, the original comics Omni Volume 1 coming out on the 18th of June, $125. You've also got a DM cover by the legendary Mark Silvestri.
Great looking cover.
Seaman, you can't do better than either of those there. And then we got issues 1 through 19 of King Conan. And then for Savage Sword, we got a volume 5, $125, 11th of June. Collecting Savage Sword, 61 through 72, $125. Also coming out on the 11th of June. I think we've had a lot of these Star Wars Insider Presents hardcovers. We got Revenge of the Sith this time in 1999 for the 3rd episode of the Star Wars trilogy.
For all those who want to relive Order 66 or 68 or whatever it was.
66.
That's what I thought.
It was there the first time. We got Alpi the Soul Sender Volume 7, $12.99. Coming out on the 2nd of July. This is the final volume of Alpi, the Soul Sender. So if anybody's reading this out there, let them know.
It's not just the final, it's the climactic one of the beloved series. I mean, we got to get those adjectives in.
That's right. Josh, this is what they say. I just report. That's all we can do in order. Oh my gosh, Josh, I'm not even going to highlight that comment. Next up, we got the slipcase set of Blade Runner 2039, $49.99, coming out on the 4th of June. We got Redemption, Upgrade, and Ash collected in here.
Yeah, I mean, if they're doing library edition hardcovers, I think I'm just going to wait for those, but I do want to read these.
Yeah, 2019, 2029, and 2039 are all library-size hardcover slipcases. So, Dead Space Salvage by Christopher Shy and Anthony Johnston. Not to be confused with Rich Johnston. $17.99, coming out on the 11th of June.
So this is the stuff that came after Temple Smith was on the illustration, but you still have Anthony Johnson, who was the writer of My Beloved Wasteland. He did Umbral, and then famously he did The Coldest City, which became Atomic Blonde when they adopted it in the movie. Really, really like him as a writer.
I have to check those out. I don't think I've ever read any of those.
Wasteland is one of my favorite series ever. It was a early post-apocalyptic Western series that came out, sort of your classic tropes where it's America after the big wet comes through and there's little vestiges of technology it's going through and there's a little bit of mysticism that comes in, new government put in place that's, may or may not be playing on the up and up, and all the while some secrets underneath the surface. Great black and white series. Awesome Christopher Mitten art. Really, really love that one.
I'm going to have to write those down. Next up, we got Dopeman with a cover that Omar likes. $12.99.
And what reason would that be?
I have no idea.
Dom, can you explain what we're looking at here and why Omar might be a fan?
He's a big fan of BJ Kicks. Comics are dope.
Funny thing too is this is not a Kicks approved cover.
We're going to move alongside so YouTube doesn't demonetize us. Kamen Rider Kuga, Volume 10 by Shotaro Ishinomori and Hitoto Yokoshima, $12.99.
Have you tried out that series or any Kamen Rider bunk? Since you're a fan of like Power Rangers, it's like Tokusatsu.
I have not, simply because that's too deep a rabbit hole for me.
Okay.
Like it's already you can't see from here, but my desk is filled with just Power Ranger toys that have been here basically from previous streams where Mini Bunk has come through and going there. If I open up that rabbit hole and just go down the full Tokusatsu stuff, which I'm pretty sure I would love. Like I know about them from reputation. I'm like, yeah, I'd be into all of it. It's too much. It's like the same way like I can't start watching NJPW because then my whole life will be nothing but that. Paperback Dan, yeah. Wasteland, it was a series from Oni Press, came out mid 2000s. They've got a few different formats. You can find the hardcovers. They're called the I think they're the Apocalyptic Edition or the Apocalypse Edition. You can find those on the cheap. They're not technically in print, but you can find used copies really easily. And then they came out with a two compendium set where unfortunately they don't have the covers in them, which is a bummer because they have great, very evocative Ben Templesmith covers. But it gives you like the whole story, huge, great bang for your buck. And then the hardcovers have the Walking the Wet prose stuff that's in there. So if you have the ability to get the hardcovers, I would suggest that. I still have my singles, which have those, and then this is just for the like I want to pick it up and read it.
Different formats for all the different people. Matt, we want to say good morning to you as well.
What's up, Matt?
It's okay. Even Bunk didn't realize that we were streaming that early.
and why did Bunk not realize we were streaming that early? Why would that be dumb?
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Outsiders Volume 1, more manga. We got vampires and werewolves colliding in this modern fantasy epic. And then we got an ancient feud. So you got vampires, humans, and werewolves in Outsiders. And then for Speed Grapher Volume 3, we've got another one of these final volumes. Look at that, 3-volume set. Maybe they could make a nice little omnibus trade paperback of that coming out on the 27th of August. And then last, or 2 more of these. See,
a lot of manga. Which I mean, let us know in the comments if anybody's read any of these, but I don't know that any of us will have read these.
Yeah, this is uncharted territory for me.
This is uncharted territory for all of us. We got Toxic Super Beast Volume 2, $12.99, 23rd of July. We got Kaiju manga taken to epic proportions. So if you're a big fan of the dinosaurs and the big weird monsters, this is definitely one for you. Continuing on, we got Working for God in a Godless World, which is one of my personal favorite manga names that I have ever seen. $12.99. I do want to check this out at some point. It's now on Crunchyroll apparently, so if you want to see the manga adapted, you can check that out there. And Yan Volume 1, $24.99. So this is one of the bigger ones. We got a chilling story that makes you choose a side with this. So if any of you are watching, love manga, this is definitely the spot for you. And if you want manga, check out, and if you live in Canada, check out our sponsors at BD Cosmos, your reliable source for bulletproof shipping in Canada as well.
There we go.
Let's go. All right. This is I think this is Taylor territory.
Perfect. I was going to ask you to move on to this because I have about 20 minutes left, and
I also have about 20 minutes left.
There you go.
And I want to be the Fantagraphics spokesperson here. I'll try to do this kind of quick, though. Atlas Comics Library number 6. Atlas is the era of Marvel before it was called Marvel. So these are old Marvel comics from the 50s. These are going to have a lot of, like, if you're a fan of the EC horror stuff, this volume is for you. It's got artwork in here from EC artists like, man, I saw this line. Oh, Ray Crandall. You got Russ Heath. Bernie Kriegstein, which is one of the greatest artists of all time. Then you have old classic Marvel artists like Bill Everett, Dick Ayers, George Tuska. Again, if you're a fan of EC horror, this is for you. This one, I am getting a review copy of this one. It's a brand new graphic novel by Dix, the Idris File. The premise of it sounds amazing. I've never read anything by this artist. I think this might be the first time it's being translated. So I will be looking forward to this one.
Now, this is about Idris Elba, right? Otherwise, I'm not reading it.
No, I don't think it is.
No, I'm out.
This next one's a cool box set. So if you don't have room on your shelf for all of the Peanuts collection, which is like 30 volumes, and you just want like some specific volumes to have like representation of Charles Schultz's great comic on your shelf. Oh, Paperback Dan. That's him getting me back for making fun of him earlier. then this is like all sports related strips. So they take all the sports strips from Charles Schultz, put them in these nice little volumes, and put them into this slipcase, which is cool. So again, if you don't have room for all of them, or maybe you have a fan in your life that's a fan of Peanuts, you want to give him some comics, maybe this is for that.
Or maybe
feel like
you
this is
just
definitely
like seeing
geared
Charlie
towards-
Brown fail, both as a pitcher and a kicker, and in like anything he's ever tried to do.
I hope they have a whole volume of just the football kicking strips.
I mean, I would
Bootsy-
want that also as a pitcher, where he's giving himself the
Oh,
self-talk.
yeah.
He's on the mound, and he's like, "Okay, you got this. The team's waiting for you." And then you just see yoink ball.
Poor Charlie.
Poor Charlie, but if you are not poor, check this out. I want this. I think this is probably like I used to like have some of those like super thin hardcover strip. I have no idea what they were called, but they sold them at a Kohl's. So that's how I got to read a lot of Peanuts comics.
They've collected Peanuts in every format imaginable. These are landscape format, but they're in a nice slipcase, like I said. So
Apparently, if you made fun of Paperback Dan, you missed it.
oh
I haven't heard
man,
Taylor do anything but make fun of Paperback Dan.
him and I
Got
make
to
fun
the
of each
point
other
where I was like,
constantly.
he says he's friends, but I feel a little uncomfortable. Should I be an upstander?
That's how everyone is in our group chat. We're constantly making fun of each other. They're like, are they being serious? Like, do they
Oh,
actually hate each other?
No, there was one point where Dom was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry if that went too far," and I was like, "I guarantee you, you do not have the capacity to go too far with me."
The wrestler,
And don't clip
so
that.
I
John
have
Ken,
PTSD from RNBA. If anybody is asking the backstory to Bunks. Anyways, go ahead.
the wrestler, John Ken Mortensen does this awesome black and white style. I think this is the 4th release that he's done for Fantagraphics. Just great stuff. If that artwork looks intriguing to you at all, or if you're a fan of pro wrestling, which
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
know you are.
Yeah, it just I fundamentally believe that that wrestling makes for some of the best crossover comics. Like there's something so like it doesn't matter about the genre. One of my favorite crime noir one shots of the last few years was Hell is a Squared Circle. It just like it makes such an easy crossover. So like, and it's almost always heartbreaking. Like you ever watch Dark Side of the Ring, and it's just like, oh, these guys try so hard and they work so hard, and you know, they basically all end up you know, falling down on their face, and ends up badly for them.
Tragic stories for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think there should be more wrestling comics out there. One reason why I love Love and Rockets, there's a lot of wrestling in Love and Rockets. If you've not dabbled in that.
Have my computer propped up on volume 1 of Love and Rockets, so that
Oh,
it's up
really?
here, so that way it can be close to me.
Awesome. I like it. I didn't know you were a Love and Rockets fan. That's awesome. Woman of 50 Faces. So this is another new. Oh yeah, the box set. Awesome.
Yep.
Love it. This is a new graphic novel by a new team. It's like a. I don't know a lot about this one. I remember reading about it. Something to do. I don't know. It's something to do with painting and scriptures. You can move on. I don't know a lot about the one. If someone else in the chat knows about it, let me know.
It looks like World War II stuff with, you know, French being occupied by the Germans and all the paintings and stuff.
Yeah, I remember reading the description one because I always go over the catalog, which, by the way, Fantagraphics should be coming out the whole new catalog soon. Which I guess, Dom, you should know that for comicreleases.com purposes.
Yeah, Dom. Where were you on that?
No, I mean, I don't expect him to know about it. I'm just saying, like, keep your eye out for it, Dom.
Yeah, Dom. Where were you on that?
I always do a video going through the catalog when a new one pops up. It's some of my favorite videos I ever do. This next one is Milo Manara. Omar's a huge fan of Milo Manara.
Yep. I was going to say you had me at Milo.
Yeah, this is a volume 2 of the Caravaggio series. And these are paperback. I think they're like European album, like Tintin album sized, if you're familiar with that. So yeah, if you're in Milo Manara, one of the all-time great illustrators, artists, period, whether comics or not, like great artist. This next one, though, is one of my most hyped.
You see Manara's name on it, you expect that that mature rating tag next to it, and indeed that one is.
Yeah, The Devil's Grin. This is everyone put this one on your radar. Alex Graham did Dog Biscuits previously. It was like one of the best pandemic comics. She was writing and drawing like on Instagram during the pandemic, and then they collected it for Fantagraphics. Devil's Grin is what she's been doing since then, and they've been collecting. She's been self-publishing each single issue. The interesting thing is the single issues are like magazine sized. I wish I would have grabbed them before the show. This looks to be more condensed, small paperback, but really, really great stuff. It's very weird. You can see there's like anthropomorphic characters. It's psychedelia, humor, deals in kind of like 70s era grittiness, slice of life kind of stuff. Really, really fantastic comics, though. And this next one I actually have a early review copy of. Nancy Wears Hats. Look at that. Doesn't come out until June. I got a copy. If you're a fan of like newspaper strips and you've not read Nancy, take the time out to go. There's a lot of great follows on Twitter and Blue Sky of accounts that just post Nancy strips. Ernie Bushmiller is one of the funniest like comic strip writers ever. Like you'll be laughing out loud to this. This book is a beautiful collection of this paperback. It's kind of landscape format. They've previously released these in hardcovers, but they're now doing these paperbacks, which are really beautiful. They're not cheaply made by any means. They're like embossed and stuff. So be on the forefront of these. These are funny comics. Weirdly deep. Yes, absolutely. I love Bushmiller and Nancy. I'll read anything from them. I think that's it though, right? That's all.
That's it for Fantagraphics.
I have a few more. I have a few more minutes, so I can stay on.
We're gonna quickly roll through Oni Press, Mad Cave, and that should be it because that is all the solicits. The only hardcovers that we got for Oni is Sheets, which is $75 at coming out on the 22nd of October. This looks cool. I don't know nothing about it.
If you need another format to buy these books in, here it is.
Exactly. Indoor Kid, $14.99, coming out on the 29th of October. If you are not a jock, you are an indoor kid, and this is a perfect one for all the people who want to read stories about bullies.
Airball Arnie couldn't be worse at sports. I want to see Airball Arnie versus Charlie Brown in like a sports off.
Ooh, sports off. I like that. Kaiju Max, the complete collection, volume 3 by Xander Cannon, $39.99.
So they previously released this in these beautiful editions that Bunk's showing you here.
Yeah, so these are just to put these in perspective. Oh god, I can't get my absolutes out. These are basically absolute sized. Awesome, he's got like a very cartoony, fun style, and it's basically. The max part of Kaiju Max is that it is a maximum security prison for Kaiju. You can see on the paper they have this cool printing there.
Oh,
awesome way that they're just putting this in more people's hands. But if you do like big art, this is I get the big volumes. If you just want to read the story, get these.
Yeah, they previously released like 6 trade paperbacks. Then there's 3 hardcovers, which each collect 2 of the trade paperbacks. I'm assuming these trade paperbacks they're releasing now mimic the contents of those hardcovers. I don't think it has the marginalia though on these trade paperbacks. There's like Easter eggs and like little director commentary on those hardcovers at the bottom. Because Xander Cannon's a massive fan of kaiju movies, and he puts little like inspirations or little notes of like where he got these characters from or movies that were inspired by them. It makes like
footnotes at the bottom of everything.
Yeah, it makes like the experience of reading those even more fun. It's amazing. And the back matter has him like reviewing movies from that and everything. Fun series. Not for kids though. Much to my son's chagrin because he sees those and he's like, I want to read that. That looks awesome. I'm like,
If anyone has the Avatar library editions, it's not too dissimilar from like the margin notes that are in these, and these are everywhere. Lots of people have these, so very cool like way that it sort of brings you beyond just the what's going on the page.
Indeed. Volume 2 is coming out on the 14th of May, paperback Dan. Quickly look that up. We got Nassauverse Volume 2, Sectars and Power Lords. Oh, Dennis Culver's on this. Coming out on the 29th of October, $29.99. After that, we got Compendium 5 for Rick and Morty. So for all the fans of the TV show out there, $39.99, coming out on the 29th of October. And we've also got a compact comic of Rick and Morty. So there you go. DC making an impact with all the compacts out there. We hope to see it.
It only took these American publishers, I don't know how many years to realize that people like this format. like manga readers and stuff.
I don't know, but it's at $9.99, which is the same price as a compact comic, collecting all of the issues you see there. Letting the Rick and One, Rick Revenge Squad presents Pickle Rick, very special Blumbus, and Cthulhu versus R&M 1 through 4. We also got Summoning Volume 1, The Art of the Craft, $19.99, another OGN. We got magical abilities with Claire and a couple of cats. So there we go. And last but not least, there are a couple of Mad Cave books. First to talk about is Flash Gordon, Volume 4, $49.99, collecting the Sunday strip from 1944 to 1948.
Important to note that Mad Cave, as they have the Flash Gordon, they are printing a current Flash Gordon series. This is not that. This is not the trade of the series that's going on right now. These are archive editions of the classic Flash Gordon strips.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Trade paperbacks don't have the footnote or the back matter from the hardcovers, so there is a distinction to be made, I suppose, there. To answer this question real quick for Matt, for Usagi Yojimbo or Ninja Turtles, I mean, I'd say the library edition that's coming out from IDW for the Jason Aaron series is a perfect place to start.
I collect both. I know Taylor, you do as well.
Yes.
Yeah. The thing that's great about Usagi is there's not really a bad place to jump in. Like Usagi tells a bunch of standalone stories that you can really pick up anywhere. If I don't know if it's still in print, but I think probably the best spot I point is no one can see it. Are the Fantagraphics hardcovers that print the beginning stuff, just because you get so much.
Yeah, that has the first 10 years of Usagi in that hardcover.
But
or slipcase.
If you can't get your hands on that, the Dark Horse reprints are these big, beautiful, reprints, super thick, $30. You can't go wrong with really any of them. You can start. Number 2 gets the story, classics story Grass Cutter. You get, I think Volume 1 has Daisho, but I mean, really, like, there's not a bad place. And actually, this has a crossover of Usagi and Turtles in it. So Usagi, great, you can jump in anywhere.
Absolutely, and I just checked that the slipcase is still in print.
Nice.
And as far as Turtles go, I love the classic stuff. They just recently did like the big oversized hardcover compendiums for those. The classic black and white Eastman and Laird series. But I think a lot of people would probably say like the new, like Dom said, the new Jason Aaron series, or if you want to go back to the starting of the IDW series, they've released those in thick trade paperbacks and hardcover.
Yeah, for where you're at, there's not a bad time on Turtles. If you want to be current, the first trade, as we showed here, is about to come out for the new series. IDW, I think, is such a perfect spot. To Taylor's point, the very, very beginnings is there. I personally think it's a little easier to jump in as a modern reader with IDW than going classic. I think it'd be easier to start there, then go back and see. But Eastman is co-writing the IDW series with Tom Walt, so you get some of that classic feel going in the new one with sort of a modern mythology. So great time to be a fan of both properties.
Absolutely. One thing I always say about people wanting to buy Usagi, don't get tripped up over those hardcovers that are way out of print. Crazy prices. Those Saga paperbacks that Bunk just showed you, same exact trim size, same exact contents, and they're so affordable. So don't worry about the hardcovers. They're never coming back into print. Those trade paperbacks are like one of the best values in comics.
Again, like this, it's like 600 pages for $30 retail. Again, if you're buying online anywhere from a channel sponsor, it's even less than that. These are probably the best value in comics.
Absolutely. I agree.
Oh, completely agreed. Real quick for the Mad Cave trade paperbacks, we got God's Here Volume 1 at $10.99, following the mysterious anarchist Typhon and the God of Monsters. We got a battle between everybody. Next up, we got Cullen Bunn on an Oni Press book, The Hexiles, with Joe Baccardo, $17.99. Six Strangers In for a funeral for somebody they never knew. Infinity Force trade paperback volume 1, $10.99. And also volume 2 of the series.
That looks like some good tokusatsu type stuff there. You got Gotcha Man, Tekka Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Mad Cave is currently printing Gatchaman as a new series right now. So they are really trying to push that tokusatsu going forward.
Yeah, I think they had a free comic book day issue of that last year.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, Volume 2, Morgana's Revenge by Joe Corallo and Mandy Chan at $14.99. The Last Session, Roll for Initiative. So if you like D&D, here's another book for you. $14.99 by Jasmine Wallace and Dozer Draws. Missing on the Moon trade paperback, Corey Crater and Damian Cosiro for $17.99.
Missing on the Moon has been really fun. Really cool crime story, detective finding missing people, political forces going at it. Deals with like what if the Soviets had colonized the moon and then basically the Cold War continued there. That one's been really fun.
Yes, indeed. Glowing recommendation from Bunk for the Moon Man. Nostalgia, Scott Hoffman at $17.99. Got a rock star.
This is written by one of the band members of Scissor Sisters in their
Nice.
writing debut. I like the premise on this, though. Rockstar receives a mysterious package, forces him to face his past and resistance movement. Looks interesting. I like the cover, too.
It is a nice cover. All right, and then last but not least, we got Sign App coming out on the 25th of June, $17.99. And this is in the year 2030.
Giant robots, UFO sightings. Also sound. I need to get into more Mad Cave stuff. Did you say they're available on Hoopla, Bunk? Have you said that?
Mad Cave, day of their issues go live. You can get all of it. It is, it's great for Global Comics.
What was the Global Comics? Okay, what was the one series from Mad Cave that you're really
Spectrum? Spectrum is like my absolute favorite thing going on. If anyone out there is a fan of W. Maxwell Prince's like anthology series that he has done, like Spectrum is the best W. Maxwell Prince series that was not written by him. All the while, you get this amazing art. Who's the artist whose name I can't remember at the moment right now? It'll go in there. But I think he is the best at depicting like actual music drawn out. Like you can almost feel it and hear it as it goes. It is a weird series. It's great.
I love weird comics, so I'm sold on that. I need to look that up.
It'd be up your alley.
Yeah.
And that is what we are going. And thank you, James, for the Global Comics In. Sign Up was written well by Buddy, but I haven't read it. So there you go. Lots of good reviews all around. And that is it for the Indie Solicits stream. And unfortunately, Bunk, if you would like to say, this is also going to be his last.
This, I got a promotion at work, which I'm very excited for.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It will be changing up my schedule, so I can't just take random Tuesdays off and then fill in with some hours over the weekend to make up for that. So I will. This is unfortunately my last time I'll be jumping on with you guys, but this has been a pleasure. Love doing this with you, and I will catch you guys in the comments for these going forward when I can find a minute or two.
Man, this was your last episode, and Dom couldn't even give you the right time.
I even gave Dom almost like a month advance, being like, "Hey, man, I don't want to put you out of a spot, so I got this. My schedule's going to change. If that way, you want some lead time to find who else is going to be there, because I'm really considerate, because I want to make sure I'm respectful of your time." And he was like, "Cool, yeah, appreciate that. Here's a gift."
Respectful time? Is that something?
11, he's like, "Hey, just a heads up, it's using the same link." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's sticky." And then I'm like, wait, why do I have a notification that this is going? I'm like, I'm not even here.
Sorry, Dom, I had to twist that knife a little bit more. But Bunk, it's been a pleasure. I've seen you on Jess's show a lot. I'd love to do a stream with you sometime. We should link up, and
yeah, man.
I feel like we have very common views on comics.
At this point, I'm like the Mike Jones of comics YouTube. I don't do any of my own stuff anymore. I just feature on other people's.
I like it.
Thank you, Cycle. Yes, that's right. I'm taking all of my business cards and I'm scratching out the assistant to the regional manager. If anyone out there is an Office fan.
So there you go. So as we say goodbye to Bunk, I'd like to thank everybody here for watching the creator-owned comic solicit stream as per recommended by Mr. Harvey Peaker's Ghost himself. I'd like to thank my 2 and 3 co-hosts, Taylor, Bunko, and Joe Loves Comics for joining me once again in these escapades. And thank you all for watching. Please stay fresh, Minties, and have a wonderful day wherever you are.